The top stories tonight in Y News. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. urges the Philippine National Police to serve Filipinos with integrity and accountability amid criticisms and public scrutiny. The Department of Foreign Affairs announces that the government may begin its evacuation operations for more Filipinos who are trapped in clashes in Sudan within 24 hours. Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases places 26 areas in the country under Alert Level 2 status until April 30. And foreign states evacuate their diplomats and nationals as violence continues in Sudan. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Monday, the 24th of April, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am William Theo. First in the news, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has urged the Philippine National Police, or PNP, to make the streets safer and serve Filipinos with integrity and accountability while being open to public scrutiny and criticism. Nel Maribohok reports.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. appealed to the country's police force to support the leadership of the newly installed Chief of the Philippine National Police, or PNP, General Benjamin Acorda Jr. PBBM made the appeal during the change of command ceremony in Camp Crame in Quezon City. The chief executive likewise urged the police to serve the people with integrity.
Finally, serve the people with integrity, with accountability, and genuine justice. Always be open to public scrutiny and practice restraint and maximum tolerance in the face of harsh criticism.
He further instructed the PNP to make their presence felt in the streets and defend democratic institutions and ideals.
Make your presence felt in the streets. Make them safer. Defend our democratic institutions, our cherished ideals. Protect the people, especially the weak, the vulnerable, and those who indirectly work with us in the same cause, such as journalists, civic action groups, civil volunteers, the like.
He also said that the PNP should enhance operational ties with other law enforcement agencies, both on local and national levels. With the PNP's help, President Marcos Jr. expressed confidence that the Philippines could have a more peaceful, just and humane society, leading to Filipinos living comfortably. The President likewise assured the police of his administration's support. Nel Maribohok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The newly installed Philippine National Police Chief Police General Benjamin Acorda Jr. promised to continue the fight against illegal drugs. General Acorda also warned the men and women of the PNP who are involved in illegal drugs. Leia Ilagan will tell us why.
Philippine National Police Chief Police General Benjamin Acorda Jr. vowed to continue the internal cleansing in the PNP organization as he assumed the role of the 29th PNP chief. Acorda said he will not tolerate those misfits in uniform and promised to slap them with charges.
No police should be involved in pushing, using, or whatever means of illegal drug trade. You will be charged and removed from the service. This is my warning to each and every one of you. Our fight will be holistic in prevention and aggressive in operations. Under my leadership, rewards and punishment will be quick and decisive. It shall be fair and impartial, and due process shall be observed.
Acorda challenged the men and women of the PNP to always choose the right thing.
To the men and women of the PNP, I challenge you to always do the right thing. Let us hate crime and fight criminals.
The newly installed Chief PNP also promised a relentless campaign against criminality.
We will not rest until every Filipino feels safe and secure in their homes, in their streets, and in their places of work.
He vowed that he will welcome criticisms and will be transparent.
To the media, our longtime partners, we welcome critics as our independent source of check and balance. We are allies in bringing out the truth. We need your support to inform the public of our endeavors for peace and order. We will be transparent.
Under his leadership, he promised to follow the Marcos administration's call for unity and nation building. Acorda also asked for the support and cooperation of everyone.
I am soliciting the support of everyone, for I cannot do it alone. I ask for your cooperation, your support, and your commitment. Together, we will overcome the challenges the organization is facing. Together, we will prove that the PNP serves with dignity and professionalism. As your humble servant, I will do my best and lead by example. Let us work together for the betterment of our country.
General Acorda was born in Ilocos Norte. Among his specialized training includes intelligence, investigation, law enforcement, and illegal drugs operation. He was a product of Philippine Military Academy Sambisig class of 1991 and still has 8 months in the PNP service before he reaches his mandatory retirement age of 56 on December. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
More individuals are expected to be designated as terrorists in connection to the killing of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo. Dante Amento tells us why.
Department of Justice or DOJ Secretary Crispin Boying Rimulya disclosed that they are seeking to designate 3 to 5 more individuals as terrorists. This is aside from suspended Negros Oriental 3rd District Representative Arnulfo Teves Jr. Rimulya explained the persons are involved in the process of killing Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo. They worked with Teves or in the terror organization of the legislator.
That act alone instilled fear in most people in Negros Oriental. If they can do it to a governor, what more for other people who are ordinary people?
One of them is Marvin Miranda, an alleged co-masterminds of the crime. The DOJ will meet with the Anti-Terrorism Council to discuss the issue of terrorist designation.
We'll be meeting with the Anti-Terror Council very soon, in the next few days. And we will be discussing it with the Anti-Terror Council, the designation of Congressman Teves as a terrorist, and some of the people who worked with him to be within the same, to have the same designation also.
Once a person is designated as terrorist, his or her assets will be frozen through the Anti-Money Laundering Council. Meanwhile, Congressman Teves Jr. recently said that the terrorist designation against him is funny. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Meanwhile, Pamplona Mayor Janice Degamo attended today's preliminary investigation of the complaints against the 4 suspects in the murder of her husband, Governor Roel Degamo. Mayor Degamo believes the case will be filed in court very soon. During the preliminary probe, the suspects manifested not to file their counter affidavits. Hence, the Degamo camp moved to resolve the case.
Nakita naman niya na ayaw nang mag-file ng counter affidavits yung mga respondents dahil technically ay inaamin naman nila na involved sila doon sa nangyaring patayan.
Malapit na po yan. We're almost there. Hintay na lang tayo for resolution na yung dito po.
If the prosecutors will find probable cause to indict the suspects, the cases will be filed in Manila Regional Trial Court. The Department of Foreign Affairs announced that the government may begin its evacuation operations for more Filipinos who are trapped in clashes in Khartoum, Sudan within 24 hours. Janice Inhente will tell us why.
The Philippine government is now finalizing arrangements for the departure of Filipinos in Khartoum, Sudan, who wish to go home to the Philippines after being trapped by the clashes in the area. According to Department of Foreign Affairs Undersecretary Eduardo de Vega, the Philippine Embassy in Egypt is now sending buses that will fetch the Filipinos in Sudan and will bring them to Cairo in Egypt.
Right now, ang government ngayon, nag-uumpisa na kami. Within the next 24 hours, meron na rin tayong batches na makakasakay na ng evacuation na buses papuntang Egypt.
The Philippine Embassy reminds Filipinos in Sudan to wait for the embassy's call to confirm their readiness and to schedule a time to be at a designated meeting point or arrange pick-up.
Ang nangyayari lang ngayon, hinihintay nila ang tawag ng embahada kung kailan pwede na sila by batches dadalhin sa mga bus na inaalkila natin na magdadala sa kanila papuntang south of Egypt. Pagdating sa Egypt, ang gagawin ngayon doon, dadalhin naman sila from the border to the town of Aswan, tourist area po yan, na may airport. Galing doon, makakalipad na sa Cairo at mawala ng Cairo, Pilipinas.
De Vega says that over 300 Filipinos in Sudan have expressed their readiness to be repatriated, but only 150 of them have their passports and other documents.
Merong process, ang gagawin ng embassy, nire-request pa rin nila sa Egypt ng special consideration. Pero kailangan, kahit na walang valid passport, meron silang something which shows kung sino sila. Siguro, photocopy ng kanilang passport o ibang ID.
Meanwhile, according to De Vega, 3 Filipinos were safely evacuated from Sudan and have already arrived in Jeddah after rescue efforts were taken by the Saudi government. The DFA thanked the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia government and asked if they can bring more Filipinos in their next future repatriation.
Nagpapasalamat tayo sa Saudi Arabia at nakikiusap tayo sa Saudi Arabia din kung may iba tayong mga kababayan na madadala sa Port Sudan, na nandun sa Port Sudan kung meron silang future repatriation ships or what, kung maaaring isakay at mukha namang open sila.
De Vega added that the Saudi government seems open to rescue other nationalities. Janice Inhente, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
In other news, the probability of El Nino is increasing based on the latest data from the Philippine Weather Agency. The government is preparing for the worst-case scenario, especially in agriculture. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
The El Nino warning system of the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration or PAGASA will be adjusted to the next level from El Nino Watch to El Nino Alert. This means that the possibility of the phenomenon's existence is about 70 to 80% for the next 2 months.
So meaning kapag itinaas ng PAGASA ang El Nino Alert, ay ibig sabihin po meron na tayong require ng mga early action, meaning po may kasiguraduhan na matutuloy ang El Nino.
However, before the country experiences the impact of El Nino in the last quarter of 2023, there could be an extreme weather event of having an intensified southwest monsoon. This also happened during the El Nino event in 2009 to 2010.
Historically, kapag meron po mga ganitong El Nino at ganito yung mga possible na start ng El Nino, yung pong ating habagat ay medyo nag-enhance. So, ibig sabihin po, medyo marami pa tayo matatanggap na mga ulan sa panahon ng habagat kapag ganitong paparating or pa-develop pa lang yung El Nino.
El Nino threatens agriculture. Former Agriculture Secretary and Federation of Free Farmers Chairman Leonardo Montemayor said that there should be a lead agency to address the impact of El Nino. Below normal rainfall is expected, and agricultural water allocation from dams for irrigation will be the first to be cut if the supply is below the normal operation.
Ang priority ng NWRB, halimbawa yung tubig galing sa Angat Dam, yan po ay multipurpose yan. Palaging inuuna ng NWRB yung water supply sa Metro Manila. So secondary po yung pag-supply ng patubig para sa lalo na po sa ating palayan.
The Bureau of Plant Industry expects vegetables to be affected by El Nino aside from rice. However, they are informing the farmers about the varieties that can withstand the challenges in water supply.
Kaya po naging objective din ng ating mga breeders, no, is to make our crops climate resilient. So example na lang po, no, yung broccoli, di ba po nakasanayan po natin na ang broccoli ay tinatanim lang sa malalamig. Pero meron na po mga varieties na pwede po siyang itanim sa lowland or dun sa mga lugar na hindi po malamig.
The National Irrigation Administration said that even during El Nino, farmers' income could be increased.
At the end of the day, pag ito ay talagang affected na talaga, hindi kulang talaga ng tubig, again, ituturo natin sa ating mga farmers yung tinatawag na diversified cropping o yung high value crops. Sa totoo lang sir, mas malaki pa po ang kikitain ng mga magtatanim ng high value crops kesa sa rice.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. already formed a task force to address and mitigate the possible impact of El Nino. Ray Pilayo, UNTV News and Rescue, we serve the people, we give glory to God.
For those watching our live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook. A new motorcycle owner needs to pay an equivalent of 3 years registration fee starting May 15. JP Nunez will tell us why.
The Land Transportation Office or LTO has released a new memorandum circular stating that the new motorcycle registrations will be valid for up to 3 years. This policy will cover all new motorcycle units with an engine displacement of 200cc and below. Under the previous policy, only motorcycles with engine displacement of 201cc and above had a validity of 3 years from initial registration.
When we did the study, wala po kaming nakita, wala po kaming nahanap na material reason for the distinction or for the classification. Kaya po ang ginawa namin ngayon is ginawa na rin po namin 3 years yung initial registration ng brand new motorcycle with an engine displacement of 200cc and below.
According to ASEC J.R. Tugade, Chief of LTO, the new policy will provide relief to motorcycle owners as they will no longer have to renew their registration annually. However, ASEC Tugade clarified that the owners of motorcycles will need to pay an equivalent of 3 years registration fee for the initial registration. This means that if they were previously paying 240 pesos per year, they will now be paying 720 pesos to cover the first 3 years of validity.
Ngayon na 3 years na po yan, but they have to pay the first 3 years. However, makakatipid po yung mga may-ari ng mga motor dahil hindi na sila sasailalim sa annual emission testing.
The new policy will take effect starting May 15. The LTO reminds motorcycle dealers to process the registration of their clients within 7 days. Failure to comply may result in fines and penalties. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration, or PAGASA, recorded high heat index in several areas in the country today, April 24. Dagupan City experienced 43 degrees Celsius, while 42 degrees Celsius was recorded in Butuan City and Legazpi City in Albay. The highest heat index this dry season was recorded in Butuan City last April 21 with 48 degrees Celsius. PAGASA is expecting hotter temperatures in the coming days. With the possible effects of El Nino in the country, the National Irrigation Administration, or NIA, announced a proposal for the construction of high dams to sustain water supply. Meanwhile, funds for the retrofitting of Magat Dam may reach 500 million. Bernadette Tinoy will tell us why.
The National Irrigation Administration, or NIA, has announced its proposal for the construction of high dams to sustain water supply amid the possible effect of El Nino in the country.
Kung sa long-term solution ay magtayo po tayo ng mga high dams.
According to NIA Acting Administrator Engineer Eduardo Gillen, high dams are beneficial as they also serve as a main source of power supply with their hydropower content. Gillian added that high dams are also sufficient for drinking water and can create livelihood. He emphasized that it will significantly contribute to water supply amid the possible effect of El Nino and La Nina.
Kaya nga po, sir, meron tayong mga na mga high dams Opo. Para sa mga susunod na panahon po ay hindi na tayo mamproblema kung may La Nina man tayo. At least pag may mga high dams tayo, nami-mitigate po natin yung flooding. At the same time, nakakapag-ipon tayo ng maraming tubig para po magamit sa ating irigasyon.
NIA confirmed that the agency, coordinated with the Department of Public Works and Highways, Department of Agriculture, and many others.
Maganda po yung coordination namin, sir, at ang DA naman, nagko-coordinate na rin po kami para ang gusto kasi ng Pangulo natin, pag nag-release ang NIA ng tubig, dapat nasa mga farmers na natin yung inputs na kailangan.
They also confirmed that the initial fund for the retrofitting of the Magat Dam, which has old features, was about 500 million. NIA coordinated with other agencies, and Senator Amy Marcos was one of the first to donate for the retrofitting of the Magat Dam.
Magat Dam, 40 years in existence. Medyo lumang-luma na talaga. Kailangan na po talagang i-retrofit siya. So ngayon po, ngayong taon, sisimulan po natin yung trabaho ng retrofitting.
Bernadette Tinoy, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases places 26 areas in the country under Alert Level 2 status. Gladys Tuabi will tell us why.
26 areas in the country remain to be under Alert Level 2 status, according to Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases, or IATF, until April 30. According to the IATF, the said areas include Benguet, Ifugao, Quezon Province, Palawan, Camarines Norte, Masbate, Antique, Negros Occidental, Bohol, Cebu Province, Negros Oriental, Leyte, and Western Samar. Also Lanao del Norte, Davao del Sur, Davao Occidental, North Cotabato, Sarangani, Sultan Kudarat, Dinagat Islands, Basilan, Maguindanao, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi. The Department of Health clarified that these areas are under Alert Level 2, not because of the rising COVID-19 cases, but because they have yet to reach their vaccination target. The 26 areas were not escalated from Alert Level 1. Instead, they have maintained their Alert Level 2 status since June of last year. In line with this, the DOH reminds the public to familiarize themselves with the minimum health standards to protect themselves from COVID-19. Filipinos are encouraged to wear face masks in crowded places and in poorly ventilated areas, and to take advantage of the free COVID-19 vaccines per the respective local government units. Gladys Tuabi, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Labor and Employment, or DOLE, will open 40,000 job vacancies in partnership with various government agencies and the private sector on May 1 in commemoration of the annual celebration of National Labor Day. According to the DOLE, 34 job sites will be opened in 16 regions throughout the country for the nationwide job fair. Job seekers who wish to apply to the current job fair can go to the social media pages of the DOLE in their region to know the location of the job site and other requirements. In addition to the job fair, there will also be a Kadiwa site for workers and distribution of assistance programs like the Tulong Panghanap Buhay sa Ating Disadvantaged or Displaced Workers or TUPAD program.
And foreign news abroad. Around 350,000 New Zealanders are expected to gain citizenship with Australia's new plan to fast-track their citizenship. A big move ever since visas were restricted after 2001. Marvi Delphine details why, live. Good evening, Marvi.
Good evening, Elsie. Many New Zealanders in Australia hold what is called a special category visa, which allows them to live in Australia. However, there are many limitations, including access to health and welfare. On Saturday, April 22, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese announced that he was proud to offer New Zealanders citizenships and the many benefits that it comes with, such as health and welfare support, unemployment benefits, voting rights, and many more. To be eligible for the citizenship, New Zealanders do not need to apply for a permanent residency, but must have resided in Australia for at least 4 years and have arrived after 2001. Chris Hipkins, New Zealand's Prime Minister, commented that this opportunity would give back the rights of New Zealanders in Australia, which were revoked in 2001, therefore improving their living in the country. LC, around 670,000 New Zealanders are currently living in Australia. According to authorities, having these changes on New Zealanders' rights in Australia also leveled the playing field for the rights of around 70,000 Australians living in New Zealand. Back to you, Elsie.
Thank you, Marvi Delphine, reporting live from Australia. This year's London Marathon brings a different kind of history to the table as it cites many fastest performances in marathon history, with many of all-time greats having run on the streets of London. Almost 50,000 runners are registered for this year's race, and around 48,000 were expected to have crossed the finish line on Sunday, April 23 in their time zone. Dozens more records were smashed during the marathon, including a new top time for the London race achieved by Kelvin Kiptum, who completed the men's elite heat in 2 hours, 1 minute and 25 seconds. Meanwhile, amateur runners broke Guinness World Records, including Alex Grady, dressed as a boxer, and Richard Allison, dressed as a three-dimensional dinosaur with the fastest times. Adele Roberts completed the fastest marathon with a time of 3 hours, 30 minutes and 22 seconds for a person with an ileostomy or those with an opening on their belly. Participants in both the elite and mass participation races also witnessed and braved overcast skies with temperatures of around 8 degrees Celsius, as well as a mid-morning rain during the race. In total, around £60 million is expected to have been raised for charities. Foreign states are rushing to evacuate their diplomats and nationals as violence continues in Sudan. Madian Dog will give us the details live. Yes, Maeve?
LC, thousands of foreign nationals are stranded in Sudan, with more and more countries putting plans in place to either pull them out or help them escape. On Saturday, April 22, all United States government personnel, along with a few diplomats from other countries, were evacuated from the embassy by the U.S. Special Forces using helicopters in a fast and clean operation. In a tweet posted on Sunday, April 23, the U.S. Embassy announced its closure, stating that it is not safe enough to evacuate private US citizens, but they will continue to assist them in leaving. Similarly, the UK government airlifted British diplomats and their dependents out of Sudan in a complex and rapid operation. However, the options to evacuate the remaining British nationals are very limited. Canada has also evacuated its diplomatic staff. Meanwhile, France carried around 100 people from Khartoum by plane on Sunday, with a second operation due to resume today. The two factions in Sudan had earlier accused each other of firing at a French national who was wounded during the evacuation. The first of Germany's 3 planes is headed to Jordan with 101 people on board, while Italy and Spain evacuated citizens, including those from Argentina, Colombia, Ireland, Portugal, Poland, Mexico, Venezuela, and Sudan. The conflict between the Sudanese military and its paramilitary force broke out on April 15, leaving hundreds of its citizens killed and thousands more injured. Elsie?
Thank you, Mavian Dog, reporting live from Australia. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Elsie Marcos, live from Auckland, New Zealand. Good evening.
The Office of the Vice President has opened its 8th satellite office in Kawayan City, Isabela. The new addition to the pool of satellite offices is located at the AV building on Governor F.N.D. Boulevard in San Fermin. With this additional satellite office in Isabela, the OVP hopes to further expand its reach in terms of providing quality and efficient services to indigents across the country. Residents from Isabela may now avail of the OVP's programs such as medical and burial assistance, including referrals for legal assistance. The local government of Legazpi City is calling on the public to once again follow the minimum health standards. Meanwhile, the personnel of the Philippine Coast Guard in Misamis Oriental are competing for strength and strategy in their sports festival for 2023. And in Iloilo, amidst the humid season, a number of students conducted their classes under the shade of the trees. Alan Manansala will tell us why.
In Legazpi City, the local government continuously urged the public to use face masks to perform the 1-meter physical distancing and regular hand washing. This was after the COVID-19 alert level is heightened once again to level 1 in the province. Legazpi City Mayor Carmen Geraldine Rosal also ordered all the employees of the city government to the mandatory use of the face mask. The LGU will be partnering with the Philippine National Police, Bureau of Fire Protection, and Public Safety Office to strictly watch for the public's implementation of the said health protocols. In Misamis Oriental, the Sports Festival 2023 of the Philippine Coast Guard Regional Training Center has formally started in the province. According to CURS Director CG Commander Raymond James Torremonia, the said activity is important to elevate the morale of their personnel and to also promote discipline and camaraderie to future Coast Guards. Most of the sports events were traditional Filipino sports or Palarong Pinoy. Included in it were the tug-of-war game and kadang-kadang. And in Iloilo, how do we beat the heat this dry season, especially during class hours? Why not do the lesson under the tree? This is what college instructor Claudine May Lesa did while teaching the course information system in West Visayas State University, Pototan campus to alleviate the intense heat brought by the humid weather in Iloilo, when the heat index went up to 47 degrees Celsius for a few days. They decided to conduct their respective classes outside the classrooms and position themselves around the shades of the trees inside the school campus. At one time, one of her students suffered from an asthma attack because of intense heat inside the classroom. So to not repeat the same incident, she thought of another way to conduct her classes.
It It was really fun kasi nakikita ko yung students na nag-enjoy talaga, na nagka-class kami outside, nagkakanta kami ng class outside.
The instructor believes that in the midst of the dry season, there are trees that we can use as shade to continue one's education. Alan Manansala, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The second dinner concert at KDR Adventure Camp entitled Love Under Stars was once again filled with spectators. First-rate balladeer Joey G serenaded the audience with his rendition of Got to Believe in Magic. Some fans from distant provinces actually came to watch their favorite former Side A lead vocalist. Other performances from Strum Jam Group and stand-up comedian Orca also brought high energy. According to the spectators, they consider the concert a one-of-a-kind experience because you would literally fall in love under the stars.
Napakagandang venue. Malaki ang lugar na ito at magandang ulit-ulitin o manood uli na concert sa tuwing meron ditong gaganapin tulad nitong naging concert ni Joey G at ang iba pa.
Overall, yung concert, ang ganda niya kasi yung venue sobrang maganda yung pagkaka-design.
Some of these special performances to look forward to at KD-RAC at night will be from the contemporary pop singer Ariel Rivera. For those who want to experience the concert, please visit the official Facebook page of KDR Adventure Camp for ticket reservations or call 0927-558-8574. Our kasangbahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the pandemic caused by coronavirus, we are inviting everyone to join the Global Prayer for Humanity from Monday to Friday, 9:30 p.m. Philippine time through the social media accounts of Members Church of God International. And before we close, we will leave you with a word giving glory to God from the book of 1 Thessalonians, chapter 5, verse 21 to 22. It says, "Prove all things, hold fast that which is good, abstain from all appearance of evil." And those are the reasons behind the news, April 24, 2023, reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.